You know, the journey is always long, but when you get here, you're so happy to be here. You're so proud to be here, and proud because I see your faces, and the faces that I see all around the country and all around the world. Your faces are the faces that empower us. Those of us who march, those of us who believe, those of us who try to stand up and question the injustice around here. I see your faces, and I know I'm in the right place as Ossie Davis at the right time. That's why I'm here. I left Detroit because I was involved in an extraordinary moment in Detroit now. It's called the U.S. Social Forum. And a number of workers there, SEIU is represented there, workers, organizers, men and women who are young men and women, and all men and women, of all persuasions, of all nationalities, of all races, are there because they believe that another world is possible. Another world of justice is possible. When we fight and we stand up for living wage, when we stand up for health care, when we stand up because we know that another world is possible, and that we know our energy and our passion and compassion and love is going to be at the center of that another world, of that new world is possible. And we desperately need a new world. So when we talk about the heart of Baltimore, we talk about men and women who provide a unique and much needed service for this city. The one thing about coming on last when you're at the beginning of the rally is you get to hear what everyone else says, and so you don't have to repeat what everyone else says. So what I am going to do, and I'll probably say some of the same things that you all know. You all know what the situation of healthcare workers here, men and women who provide services. You know that 1 out of 5 workers in this city is a healthcare worker. So this is the biggest industry in this city. So we demand justice for those who work in that industry. We demand that they have a living wage. But you know what? And we not only a living wage, that we demand that they are allowed to organize, not intimidated, but to organize into a union. Something happens when you organize into a union. I'm a manifestation of that because some 60-some years ago, my parents came to the post office in San Francisco, where I was born, and they came there because the federal government desegregated the federal workplace. So within a matter of years, less than a decade, the workforce was transformed in San Francisco and other places across the country because young African-American men and women had an opportunity to work, receive living wages, raise a family, plan a future, become part of the middle class. They had a chance to do that. And the first thing they did to ensure their empowerment was to join the union and be involved in the union. So the union, this is real. In every single moment as a child, I remember how important the union was, how defining a way in which you approach your life. It made them not only effective in the workplace, but it also made them effective as citizens. My mother extended that. She became the regional president for the National Council of Negro Women. So the leadership qualities that she learned in the union, the leadership qualities that she learned as her new imagining of herself as a citizen contributed to the leadership qualities that she brought as the president of the National Council of Negro Women in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I know that. I know that when we went to union picnics, when we had dialogues around the table about what was happening in the workplace, it had an indelible effect on what I believe and why I'm here. I'm here because we demand that the hospitals here in the Baltimore area allow you, men and women who work hard, who raise families, who build and support this community, who divine this community, allow you to organize unions and allows you. We here and demand that in this crisis, in the crisis that we have, there's not simply a crisis in terms of the financial crisis, there's a crisis on Main Street. Men and women who work every day don't have the capacity to build a future. Men and women who work every day, their wages have been stagnant for the last 35 years. Men and women who work every day are forced to make choices between whether they pay the rent, whether they buy food, whether they go see and take their child to a daughter. That's what's happening. We demand that has to cease. And if we're going to make it, another world is possible. If another world is possible, it begins right here in Baltimore with healthcare workers in the heart of Baltimore. That's what it is. I'm proud to be here because you're here. Not because you stayed longer and the rally's longer. That happens sometimes, you know? You know? Now, I can't say the wrong thing because someone said once, I said global warming was the reason for the earthquake in Haiti. That's not what I was saying. But these increased thunderstorms around here and everywhere else has something to do with climate change and global warming. No doubt about it. But I'm glad that you're here because you're the backbone of this. I've had the privilege of walking with men and women in Terre Haute, Indiana. Men and women who stood up. I've had and won their rights. I had the privilege of being with women, mostly 300 women in Brooklyn, Ohio, when a clothing factory was going to close down. A place that made high-end suits was going to close down. And those women stood up, mostly immigrant women, but women from everywhere stood up and said, we demand that you stay here and not take our $12 job an hour jobs away from us and send them overseas while you expand your economic presence here in the United States. I dare you take our jobs away from us. I've been here the privilege to see that, to bear witness to that. And I know the power that you have. But you know what it is? It's going to mean that you're going to have to stick together. You're going to have to win this battle only by sticking together. You're going to win this battle, and you will win. You will win. You're going to win this because of your will. And because, as Dr. Martin Luther King, when he quotes Carlyle, no lie lasts forever. Thank you so much.